On this installment of Seanzviewent Entertainment, we're going to be bringing up WrestleMania and Royal Rumble plans for next year. An interesting superstar that Vince McMahon thinks should win the Royal Rumble. We thought The Rock was going to win, but what about a return for the Royal Rumble? What about what will be the main event, the closing show at WrestleMania next year? We're going to talk about a load of rumors and news and headlines on the premier destination, Seanzviewent Entertainment. We keep it prolific, consistent, and dedicated. I work around the clock, and I never stop on all rumors and news. So viewers and subscribers, let's start at the very top of the news items because we got a lot to cover and a lot to get to. And we know when we're talking about the Royal Rumble, WrestleMania, The Rock, you know something's going to happen. Now, Barn Burner Fired Up Podcast says that Vince McMahon is so into Andrade Cien Almas and Zelina Vega that he might even position Almas to be in the main event spot at WrestleMania, which means Vince McMahon reportedly so high on Andrade that he may win the Royal Rumble. Now, original reports went out that The Rock would be a surprise entrant, that The Rock would return and win the Royal Rumble, but The Rock could do that at the Elimination Chamber. So now Vince McMahon, and I know Vince McMahon was high on him. I know he saw good things in Andrade. Now, we saw what he did with Alberto Del Rio in 2010. Alberto Del Rio won at that time, the biggest Royal Rumble. Was it the 40-man Royal Rumble event, right? He won that thing. And now, Alberto Del Rio, you know, he worked out all right. You know, it was okay, but, you know, him and Triple H ended up having some back and forth. You know, it just didn't work out for Del Rio in the end. But for what the run was, Vince McMahon was high on Del Rio. And we know that, you know, we don't have a Rey Mysterio in the WWE, you know, on a full-time basis. We know Rey Mysterio, and especially Rey Mysterio, will be returning, but it will not be in a full-time run. So Vince McMahon is looking for that next top guy, you know, out of the States to, you know, go over and get big. And Vince McMahon has high hope for Andre. Let's see how, I mean, he's a great in-ring competitor. It could polish up on his mic work, but I guess that's where, you know, Zelina Vega can take over, and, you know, that's cool. So what do you think about Andrade Cien Almas potentially winning the Royal Rumble? That in itself would be huge, as seen on Ringside News. And there is more of a report. There's an update. Now, remember, Paul Heyman's going to be starting his own group, Paul Heyman starting his own group. Paul Heyman running roughshod through Monday Night Raw. We're going to be talking about that one in this particular episode as well, viewers. Backstage report on Paul Heyman becoming head of a new stable. Paul Heyman has led a stable of wrestlers before, and it's apparently not off the table for it to happen again. Once again, Barn Burner Fired Up said that they might, now while they seem to be partnering a couple managers up with clients in WWE, Paul Heyman is apparently waiting in the wings and preparing to break things wide open soon enough. We talked about Lio Rush. We saw Lio Rush is going to be probably the mouthpiece with Bobby Lashley. I said that Paul Heyman is talking about starting a new faction or whatever in this talk of Kevin Owens, Samoa Joe, Bobby Lashley, or whatever. They're bringing in the Authors of Pain and have Drake Maverick as their manager. Now Bobby Lashley has Lio Rush. They put guys who are wrestlers go on, but they are going to get the true sort of manager or advocate, and he's going to start a major group, guaranteed, and it should be happening in maybe a month or 6 weeks. Paul Heyman will break in a major group in the WWE. Only time will tell what the WWE does with Heyman now that Lesnar is no longer a part of the picture. After all, they could decide not to use him at all, and then Paul would be a free agent once again. But it looks like Paul Heyman will be taking on a new group. There will be no Heyman girls, maybe a Heyman guy. Who knows, viewers and subscribers? I'm glad that managers are coming into the fold again. Managers are, you know, the mouthpiece. They are the fabrication. They are what set the table for wrestlers that aren't so good, you know, on the mic and can't transition well, but are good in the ring and are solid top performers, and, you know, who can really get the crowd underneath their skin. And that's where a manager, you know, I know managers won't be the, you know, Bobby the Brain Heenans, the Captain Lou Albanos. I mean, I know managers, Mr. Fuji. I know they won't be like that. But you know what? At least the WWE is attempting to bring managers and stables back into the fold again. We remember stables and teams were a big part of the Attitude Era, DX, the Nation of Domination, Kane and The Undertaker, duos, and the Brood. And now you're seeing managers and, you know, top guys, you know, who need a little bit that extra initiative to go further and beyond in their career. And you know what, viewers and subscribers, I have no problem with that. Evolution, the card with the all-women's talent services listing 14 segments on the show, rumors of Melina. Now, there was talk of Melina being on the show. She made the final script. Whether or not she's in a match remains to be seen. But viewers and subscribers, here on Sean's View, we keep it prolific, consistent, and dedicated. What about Melina being in a match? We know Mickie James will be there. Trish Stratus will be there. Lita will be there. We all want AJ Lee to appear, and that would be, that arena would go bonkers. I mean, you got to talk about the roof coming off that building if AJ Lee came out. But hey, you got Melina, you got Trish, you got Lita, you got, Alexa Bliss, you got Ronda Rousey. You got elites, you got the top of the top, you got the great performers, you got the class acts, you got the girls that are really starting to come into their own. So viewers and subscribers, the fact that, these women are going to have a 14-segment show in a day and age when it's so easy to forge a document. We're not sure if this one is real, but there is a document online right now. There will apparently be an NXT Battle Royal to determine who will face Kairi Sane later on in the night. This is interesting, especially considering the Battle Royal's placement on the card. Usually WWE would book something like this on the kickoff show, but only time will tell if the order could get switched around. There is a match listing floating around online featuring 14 segments on an Evolution card. The matches that have already been announced included the rumored main event of Ronda Rousey versus Nikki Bella for the Raw Women's title, but then there are also other interesting notes on the card as well that we just brought up that was very distinctive of Melina. Melina, what are your thoughts on her? For a manager, she was good. She was on, and she definitely left her impression. There's no mistaking about that. WWE reportedly planning a special announcement during the all-women's pay-per-view extravaganza. That announcement being the announcement of the Women's Tag Team Championships. The World Women's Tag Team titles finally coming into rear view and coming into the view mirror, because here on Sean's View, we try to give you the view and the perspective of a lot of different things and a lot of different variables, because here on Sean's View, Demon, I have a brand new Amazon merchandise line. Merchandise all over the place. And if you buy my merchandise, even one shirt will get you a shout out and a free one-on-one video or text session with Sean's View Entertainment over on Facebook, or even if you want, maybe even a cell phone. I don't know. We'll talk about it. But for Facebook, text, or video call, and you will get a shout out right here on this very show, the location and the destination for everything WWE. And let's hope that YouTube actually sends out this video. But ladies and gentlemen, that's intriguing. The special announcement will be that the women's tag team titles will be introduced or reintroduced to the WWE. If some of you may remember back in the day, there were women's tag team championships. But viewers and subscribers, what about Vince McMahon, though? Considering a surprise Royal Rumble win from Andre. I still can't get over that whole Andre Cien Almas. Like I said, I hate to debunk. I hate to talk down. I hate to be negative towards things. Because, we've seen Andre's work. And can you imagine Andre Cien Almas becoming the WWE champion? Do you think he's cut out to be in the main event? Well, Rey Mysterio was in the main event at a WrestleMania. Smaller guys like Bret Hart and Shawn Michaels were in the main event of a WrestleMania. So it's not out of the picture that Andre Cien Almas, I don't know if he would be in the closing show, the closing main event. He would be one of the main events at WrestleMania, and that would be intriguing, and that would bring another demographic and a new audience. And I know Vince McMahon wants to leverage that kind of crowd and that kind of audience. And the fact that Vince McMahon is so high up on Andre Cien Almas, I guess you don't have to expect him to be released anytime soon, because he's always going to be a part of the main roster in some way, shape, fashion, or form. Heck, this guy could be the next John Cena. If Vince McMahon gets behind you as much as he says he does, and as powerful as that can be to your career, it can also elicit a negative. Because once again, Vince McMahon was so high on the big guys, the tall guys, the built guys. And some of them just, look at Ryback, for instance. And like I said, Del Rio, he worked out to a T, but then, things kind of just fell apart for him. WWE reportedly, considering a stable warfare at Survivor Series. Once again, by way of Bond Burner Fight Up on Ringside News, WWE is considering putting Rey Mysterio and Pentagon Jr. in Phoenix to create a Latin American faction as soon as the three are in the company at the same time. But regardless of whether the trio is likely to start in NXT as a duo, as the Lucha Brothers will start right away, WWE still has themselves in a position to test out some serious stables versus stable factions during the big Survivor Series event. They're building now in time for Survivor Series a group of factions. The Shield came back. Now Dolph Ziggler and Braun Strowman with Drew McIntyre in the faction. You have the AOP if you want to put Drake Maverick in there as a faction. And what's the biggest faction? I keep telling you, it's Paul Heyman's guys. The Dangerous Alliance, like he was known in WCW, but look for Paul Heyman to have a faction as well. It looks like the Bodburner's previous report that Heyman will be put in charge of a massive stable plays into this report as well. If things work out like they're saying, then fans could have some exciting things to look forward to as it concerns managers, trios, stables, and factions. And viewers and subscribers, we will get the absolute satisfaction out of all that. There is no mistaking on that one. Huge news as it concerns Madison Square Garden and Vince McMahon. We know that's the WWE's home. We know that's their backyard. We know that's the Hallett Halls. Well, ladies and gentlemen, WrestleMania is about a year and a half away at this point, and WWE is still trying to figure out some of the specifics that they usually have in line by the point after, time for WrestleMania. They have Axxess. WrestleMania is an all-week event. Bond Burner Fired Up podcast says that WWE is still looking for a WrestleMania Axxess location next year, and ROH took one of the most popular options. Vince McMahon is getting directly involved in the matter. Vince McMahon does have a meeting in place with the people of MSG, Madison Square Garden. This is interesting. As you know, Ring of Honor is at MSG in April. Does Vince McMahon throw to MSG millions of dollars to say, throw them out so we can have our show? He's having meetings with MSG. I have heard next week about this. I don't know what's going to happen there, but it should be interesting because this will be the first time WWE will sort of need MSG to promote their show or their Axxess. ROH has a sold-out show at MSG already, so it would be really hard to cancel at this point, but you can never put anything past Vince McMahon. So viewers and subscribers, that is the latest news. That is what's going on in the world of pro wrestling. And as I do the video, I look at the news and the rumors. I look at any updates, changes, the developments, so I can keep you in the know on everything WWE. And that seems like that is all at this point. Remember, WWE bringing back past WCW pay-per-views. Just sum up some of that news. So viewers and subscribers, I am here for you. Seanzviewent working around the clock. I don't stop. What do you think about all the news and the rumors? What about Melina's return? What about the Women's Tag Team Championships? What about the fact that Vince McMahon is so high on a top SmackDown star? What about The Rock? Where does The Rock play in the Royal Rumble now? Will The Rock even show up at the Royal Rumble? There's now even talk and rumors. A rumor came out last night that with Roman Reigns, and it's going to make it look like Roman Reigns is going to lose the Universal title because Roman Reigns got the upper hand. Roman Reigns got the advantage going into the pay-per-view. Usually when you get the upper hand or the advantage, that means you're probably going to lose. Well, there is rumors that Roman Reigns could lose the Universal title as a swerve, so it makes it look like Braun Strowman's cash-in wasn't absurd, and so it because it doesn't make sense if he cashes in and he loses, rumors that Roman Reigns loses the Universal title, but then wins it back the next night on Monday Night Raw, a la Stone Cold and Kane from King of the Ring 1998. But viewers and subscribers, let's dictate what's going to happen next. I got more news and rumors on the way, hopefully later on today. Your comments, your opinions, your approval, and hopefully YouTube will send this video out. And if they don't, well, then I guess I'm going to have to do what I got to do to YouTube.com, and that is take my boot, turn it sideways, and stick it straight up YouTube's collective candia. And that's all for Sean's View. And, more to come. Please buy my official merch line. It's in the comment section or in the description of this video. I hope you got your fill and your need of all the rumors, news, headlines, and WWE if you were in need. Stay tuned for more WWE news on Sean's View Entertainment.